The small business world is poorly served by the accounting profession. And what I mean by that is the accountants, as a general rule, see their role as helping with bookkeeping, doing taxes, and providing year-end reports. That's kind of how they see what they do. And the business owner kind of gets acclimated or accustomed that that's what they get from their accountant and that's what they expect, and don't know any bit the wiser about what they should be getting in addition to that. The typical challenges that the owners I work with are around three things: time, team, and money. Today we want to talk about money. And money's got two sides to it. So one side of money is I need more money, I need better sales and marketing. And the other side of money is having accounting, financials, reporting, metrics, KPIs. It's about having a dashboard in the business so that you can understand what's performing well in the business and what isn't. And in our conversation today, I'd like to talk a little bit about that side of money. It's interesting. I had several conversations with business owners in the last week or so that lots of times business owners are, tradespeople, they're electricians, they're plumbers, etc., or they're professional advisors, they're health practitioners, they're, lawyers, etc. And they're great at their craft, they're great at their profession, and that's where they get all their satisfaction from. They're craftspeople, they're tradespeople. And they started typically with a truck, and that grew into 2 trucks, 3 trucks, 4 trucks, and they still, kind of think of themselves as, a plumber or a physiotherapist. And they haven't sort of migrated to the place where they start thinking of themselves as a business owner. So that's the first shift that that causes you to think about the business differently. Is you're not a guy with a job, you're a guy who has a business, and part of that process is you perform certain things in the business, both as the operator, as the craftsperson, as well as the general manager, as well as the president or the CEO. Secondly, the business owners, as a rule, the electrician or the health practitioner haven't had a business education, and so they don't really understand how to read financials, balance sheet, P&L, and they're kind of afraid to ask. It's sort of awkward, it's embarrassing maybe, and so they're operating kind of in the blind. Well, in fact, in the blind. The gap that I wanted to address is there's a place where business owners ought to be getting business advice from an advisor. And what that means is that you're looking at a set of numbers that has results from the previous month, the previous quarter, the previous year, that those results are being compared to the same period last year and to your plan for this present year, and that you're doing an evaluation of what is and isn't working as you wish in the business, and you're using an evaluation of benchmarks of last year and your plan for the year, and you're doing that on the basis of something called common-sized financials, which means that all of your numbers are benchmarked against revenue, and so you're comparing apples to apples to apples, because it's really hard if sales went up 500,000 and your expenses went up by a proportionate amount. The accountant would just simply say, well, your expenses are up. But a business person would look at it and say, well, last year your cost of labor was 12% of sales, and today your sales grew by 500,000, but your cost of labor is now 11%, which is actually an improvement. That's a massive improvement. You've been able to reduce your proportion, the ratio of dollars that you're using in order to produce the goods that you're making. And so it's that shift that that isn't being presented to business owners. So there's a role in your business for business acumen, for having an advisor. In large companies, there's a chief financial officer who's qualified. In large companies, there's also a comptroller who makes sure that the numbers are accurate. You're not getting that from your accountant. I say that after working with 300 people, 300 clients, that 299 of them weren't getting it naturally from their accountants. And it's only when we get and hire a fractional CFO, that most business owners are getting the kind of information they need in order to make intelligent decisions about what's going on. So let me put it a different way. Let's think about a thought experiment. You get to have 1 hour of conversation per week with someone in your business. And in that hour, you're going to get enough information to know what is and isn't working in the business. So that means there's someone in the business who understands what the numbers mean and understands what changes, what decisions need to be taken in order to make the business operate at the level you want. Let me give you some examples. So when I started with this person, Darren is his name, he owns a CNC machine shop in the Lower Mainland. When I started with him, he was having trouble making payroll. It was a challenge with him. He was working with a bookkeeper who was not seasoned or experienced enough or trained enough, and so he was getting bad information from the bookkeeper. In about 2 years' time, he's gone from a place where he can barely make payroll to now he's thinking about buying the building that he's been renting in for 30 years. That's how much of a change has happened in his life. And we've been working about 2.5 years, and I just got a text from him last night that was a record, all-time record sales quarter for him. So in 3 months, he did what he did in 12 months in the first year that we worked together. And again, the common denominator here is that he's a craftsman. He's a fantastic foreman, a fantastic CNC machine operator, loves working in the shop, but didn't know the arithmetic of the business, didn't understand. One of the things that happened, by the way, is in the first year that I worked with Darren, his results were significantly better. They were so better, in fact, that his banker asked him, after doing the annual review and looking at his numbers and evaluating the health of the loan they had, asked him what happened. What in the world happened? How come there's such a massive difference? It's something that you want to master and be on top of, and so as a result, it can be a bit embarrassing. But here's the thing. The reason you're not getting help from the accountant is because they don't know, and you're not asking, you don't know what to ask. And so you can continue doing what you're doing, but it's not going to get better until you do something different. And so I'm not here to embarrass you. I'm here to help. I'm here because I want to make a difference in your life, to make your life better. You're going to learn at the pace that works for you. It's your business. I don't tell you what to do. I won't ask you to do stuff that you're not comfortable doing. You get to make the decisions. I want to be a guide. I want to be someone who can open possibilities up for you, show you some alternatives, help you think about some of the challenges that you're currently facing, and to give you access to resources. Yeah, so the question is, isn't this expensive? And at a time where you're uncertain of your profits or revenues, and how can you afford it? Well, here's the thing. It's an investment. It doesn't cost, it pays. And so in the two stories I mentioned, their investment in coaching, their investment in getting better information has resulted in them having a business that performs at a significantly better level. So I've done this enough times to know that that you will get a return on coaching. And I promise that in the form of, I'll guarantee that after 4 months, you'll agree coaching's paid for itself. So after listening to this, you're probably in one of three places. Number one, you've got everything you need, you're good to go. And that's awesome if that's the case. Number two is you might have a question or two, and I'm happy to help. Feel free to book into my calendar. It's easy to do that, timewithjohn.com, www.timewithjohn.com, and that'll take you to my calendar link and book in 15 minutes and let's talk, let's answer your question or two. And if that's everything you need, that's awesome. And then number three is you might say, hey, gee, it's, I like what I'm hearing and I'd like some more help. And if that's the case, then let's hook up for a conversation. We'll do that timewithjohn.com. It'll be an introductory call. Both of us get a chance to see if there's a fit, and if there is, we'll book a longer discovery call, a longer opportunity to see about how we'd want to work together.